off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah. Number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Well, I want one place for you to land where you will not get a case of the 4 A's from talking about what's going on in the headlines, which are sure to make you angry, aggravated, afraid, or anxious. I don't want that. The only A I want in your life is amazing, 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests and special series to make sure that you either learn something, but for sure laugh often and much, and today's no exception. As you can see, who I have in the studio, she's my co-hostess with the mostest on Wednesdays. Been well over a year, I think. We still have to keep saying we need to find your anniversary date, but it's always a pleasure to have her here with me on the series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
She's a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California. She's a playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, best peach cobbler maker. And those of you, thank you for the messages, enjoying yesterday's promo clip with her trying my ancient Chinese secret banana bread recipe. She's a published author of many books now, many of them children's books, helping parents talk about things like bad touching or money matters. So yeah, she's a multi-hyphenate like myself, and her latest joyride is running for Congress. Please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Happy New Year, everyone. I love to say Happy New Year throughout the month of January. So that is my thing. I think every day is a blessing. That's why it's called a gift, and it's the present. Yay.
Yeah. Starting off this new year, always on the right foot, hand, arm, and attitude. And this is the place where if we do talk about problems or reality, it's the first half of the show. Second half of the show, we do solution. But before all that, we have breakfast with you. What does that consist of? Taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun, we look around us. What are we grateful for outside of ourselves? Bottom of the bun tonight. Before you go to bed, what are you grateful for inside of yourself? What do you like about yourself? So you're not like restless, shitting on yourself. I should have said this, I shouldn't have said that. So that's why we have breakfast every weekday morning on the show. Dr. Tiffanie, start us off, please. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful to have seen another year. A lot of people started 2025 with plans to see 2026, and they did not make it. So I am grateful to be blessed with another year. And another year of optimism, another year of goals, and I am just thankful and grateful and blessed.
Fantastic. I am grateful that I get to go on a cruise on Saturday to compensate for the fact that I'm not allowed to fly. And my daughters gave me the gift of going on a cruise with a couple of women to play mahjong while we're on the water, which is, my replacement for a sailboat racing because of the blood clots. And we get to anchor one day in San Francisco where my daughters are. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Nice. Well, I am grateful that over the new year, I was able to celebrate in Belize and I had the opportunity to swim with sharks, which, if someone told me I would do that someday, I would have said, no, that is not true. But they were nurse sharks and they only eat dead things. And since I am a live thing, it was great to snorkel with sharks and I saw beautiful sea creatures and I love the ocean. I love beauty like that. That's why I joined the Navy, one of the best forces of the United States. Um, yes, I'm biased.
The
So,
Navy.
mhm.
So
And it
good.
was a fabulous experience. Shout out to all the Belizean people and their great, fabulous food. So I had a wonderful experience there.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I was just going to say that's in my bathtub list because I scuba dive and I've heard that it's beautiful there.
Mhm.
I don't know how it's going to beat the Great Barrier Reef, but then I remembered I cannot fly. So, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to celebrate that you had a great time. And my last gratitude is to Dr. Tiffanie Tate. Thanks to her and her family, Mom T, her brother Mark, his wife Elsa. I had a beautiful, fabulous Christmas day with Nathaniel and Mia. We played games, great food, great fun, and I wanted to say I'm very grateful for my co-host, who is more than a co-host. She adopts people who, well, not people, me, whose kids are elsewhere for Christmas because I chose Thanksgiving, but it was wonderful. So thank you very much. It was
You're always welcome.
fun. Yeah, that's 2 years. It wasn't in a row. I thought it was in a row, but it wasn't in a row. But because last year I was traveling, but yeah. So let's go to the bottom of the button, which is weightlifting for your good mental health. So it's my BS, my belief system that good mental health starts with an appreciation, a love, self care, self soothing. So instead of living out maybe what your well meaning, more mean than well parents may have said, don't toot your own horn, you're not all that. I think it's really important that we own what we're good at. You know, we can own what we're not good at, but the tendency as perfectionists is to only look at what's not right. So I want you to work your muscle of self approval. That's why we do this for you, to model it before you go to bed. So, what do you like about yourself, Dr. Tiffany?
I like the fact that I have always been sought out to be that community builder, community leader, community gatherer. And no matter where I am, even if I try to like step back, people have always sought me out. Whether I was in the Navy or in undergrad or in medical school, people would seek me out to lead. And I actually like that about myself because if there is a call to action, I am ready and willing to accept that call. And I like the fact that I am able to build that camaraderie and take the lead and not just abdicate that role and abdicate the responsibility.
Beautiful. I appreciate my ability to practice what I teach most of the time. Lately, I'm really grateful to Gladys Knight, who has exploded. We're at 842,000 views of that
Mm.
clip of her singing and flashing peace at me from stage. And 98% of the comments are beautiful, love her, hearts, flowers, everything. 2% are not so nice. 1% are basing it on a BS belief system. They think she doesn't want to do what she wants to do and should retire, literally shoulding on everything in the comments. And so it's created some momentum. And then 1% is just plain old mean. And I have really been good about not getting into the fray, and don't pick up the rope. You won't have a tug of war. So I suggest that as coaching to have a happier life. And there were a couple times where I'm like, and I just went, they're entitled to their stupid opinion. No, they're entitled to their opinion. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I teach most of the time.
You know what they say? Opinions are like bottoms. Everybody's got one, and some of them stink.
I've heard the more FCC violation version of that.
But we don't want to go that route.
Yeah, no, you don't want to take me shopping. So, one more. What do you like about yourself?
Okay. And I like the fact that I really enjoy my baking and my cooking. And it was interesting because last month my pool party, my pool buddies, they had an event and I could not make it, but I wanted to be there in spirit. And so I made some caramel corn and my cookies and I put them in the little to-go baggies and I dropped them off and I left. And so some of the people were able to get them and some of the people were not. And they were like, oh, the people who had them, they were like, oh, they were so great. And the people who didn't, they were like, well, we didn't get any. And I said, well, it's okay. I will make some the next time. And I like the fact that even though I wasn't there, I was able to be there in a virtual way, but in a real physical way. And I like the fact that I was able to appease some people, but still I'm able to come back and circle back and satisfy people at a later date.
Awesome. That's great. I will end with I appreciate my ability to try new things. I'm gonna go on a date with a much younger man. I told you I would not do that, but it's a new year, and I'm throwing out all of the I don't like this, I don't like that. Now, certainly there are certain things that are still in play, but some of the more traditional things that I have said no, I don't want to do that or whatever. So so I'm for better for worse, opening up some doors. So he has a PhD. There you go. Actually, I've been meeting some. Usually they're like my DDD, dating disaster for the day. But I have to say I've been meeting some really nice and intelligent and interesting people. So there you go. Yeah. All right. That's it for breakfast. Thanks for joining us this morning. I do this every weekday morning, whether rain or shine. And so I hope that you will continue this good life habit, #Blisscipline, from now until eternity, because it will help you sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day.
Attitude versus aptitude.
All right. And why did you pick this topic?
Well, new year, new perspectives, new goals. We talked about how resolutions have basically fallen to the wayside, but we still want to achieve goals and we still want to work towards success. But let's look at how we can do that. So let's take it, smack it, flip it up, turn it upside down, spin it around, and delve into this thing, right?
Sounds like a plan. All right. So attitude, my first thing on attitude, and I apologize. Do you hear the wind at all?
A little bit.
A little bit. I wasn't watching the clock, and I ended up doing 45 minutes on the bike this morning. And so I don't know what happens I just start like completely
Need a fan?
listening.
A personal summer, that's all.
Yes. My second shower. So I'll just, is it too distracting with it here?
No, it's fine. We can hear you
So
well.
fine? Okay, cool. So attitude
We don't want you melting.
Yeah, I'm melting. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz and the Sphere, over the New Year's, I got to, you said Belize, which is beautiful. I did the staycation, Vegas, but I got to hear Earth, Wind, and Fire bring in the new year, and the Wizard of Oz in the Sphere. It's amazing, 4D. It's fantastic. So a little commercial for them. When I think of attitude, I think of people giving me an attitude, a bad attitude, and or a good attitude. So is that what you're talking about when you're talking about attitude?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I'm thinking more so about um, personal perspective. So let me start with a simple question. Have you ever met someone who was incredibly talented, or but somehow they never quite lived up to it?
Their
So,
potential. Yes.
yeah. Or
Yes.
maybe they were the smartest student in the class, or the most gifted athlete on the team, or the person everyone said they were destined for greatness and they had a lot of potential. But yet, years later, they seem to still be stuck. And
Yep.
you're like, what happened? And so, yet, you're like, now think about someone else. They were not the most talented, not the smartest, but they were consistent, they were focused, they were hungry for it. And somehow they are winning at this game called life. That is attitude versus aptitude.
Okay. So will versus skill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I get it. I get it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So which one really matters more?
I think will matters more because
Mm-hmm.
if you, even if you are talented, but if your attitude is why bother, like decaffeinated coffee, then it's kind of like a waste of talent. Although I do I do think that there are some extenuating circumstances, like if you're beaten down so much that you can't lift your head. Uh, and I think that that distinguishes a lot of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, where if you don't have anyone in your corner, it's very difficult to see anything except what was done to you. And I always credit my math teacher in 10th grade, JJ Bristow, for being intuitive enough to know that my home life was not very supportive. And he kept me after class one day, and I'll never forget it. He looked in my eyes and he said, and my name was Maria before. I changed it when I started modeling, but also as a symbolic way of leaving that behind, the fat, ugly, and clumsy identity. And I said, and he looked at me in the eye, and I do this with kids now. You can do anything and everything you want if you put your heart and mind to it. And that made all the difference. And life began to have some hope in it. So if you, one, are feeling like I used to feel, know that I'm in your corner now saying that to you. And two, if you had a great childhood, I would challenge you or encourage you to make a habit of finding someone. You don't have to say, so are you one of the 7 out of 10? No, you're just any kid. If you see a kid and you connect eyes, is to say that to them.
Absolutely. Because when you look at the aptitude, it is your natural ability. It's how quickly you can learn something and how easily a skill comes to you. But you really do have to believe in yourself. With some people, Understanding math is instantly, but and picking up sports is naturally. And they have musical and artistic instincts and read people emotionally without trying. But other people, they actually have to work at it. And let's be honest, aptitude, it does matter. And talent, it can get you noticed early and it can build your confidence and it will open doors quicker than effort alone. But if you're naturally good at something, people will see it and teachers will praise you for it and coaches will rely on it. And yeah, employers will notice it. But here's the problem. Aptitude often comes with a hidden weakness. When something comes easy, you don't always learn how to struggle.
Yes, brings to mind before I was married and dating in that dangerous sport called dating. I did go out with a guy who was extremely good looking. I mean, he was like model, hot, hot. And I remember saying to him, it's so easy for you, right, to date and to do. And he goes, well, yes. And at the same time, I had to uh, purposefully learn to develop my personality because I didn't have to, right?
Hmm.
My looks got me through the door. And I'm hearing a little echo, by the way, so if you could turn something down there. But it was it was exactly what you're saying. And the good news is he had the awareness to do that.
Yeah, that's an excellent point because when you struggle, well, when struggle finally shows up, um, it always does when talented people don't know what to do, and struggle leads to growth, and often they just quit. And that's kind of when they end up stuck. And then they start making excuses because they need to protect their ego instead of improving. And I think that that's where that talent without any effort is like a fast car with no fuel. It can't
Mm-hmm.
really go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks impressive, but it doesn't go far. And I think it's important. I know me having to overcome the struggles that I did, having parents who struggled with addiction, having to be raised by a single parent with two kids of her own, me being her bonus third, my dear momty. I learned what struggle was. I know what it is to have to make ends meet. I wasn't always a doctor. So I think it is imperative to understand what it is when you have to deal with struggle and you have to overcome struggle.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I've oh, I I think it's on my end. I just hit the echo cancellation. Can you check yours to make sure?
No, I have the echo cancellation. I hear you much better now.
Oh, good. Okay. um, the first of all, let me go back to aptitude. When you said, what your natural gifts or abilities are, my BS, my belief system is that all 8 billion of us have unique talents, gifts, and abilities, and that belief system keeps me from getting too involved in the American dream definition of fame and fortune is the definition of success, and that if you're not a pro football player or a pro musician or an actor actress, then what you do doesn't really matter. That's bullshit hockey. And I believe that people have talents. Some of them are in front of people, some of them are behind the camera, in front of the
Exactly.
behind. And that every single person, if you keep your eyes off of the world's definition of
Mhm.
what is successful, you will discover what your unique talent, gift, and ability is. But you won't be able to do that if you're constantly looking at what's distracting in society in their estimation of what is successful. So that's what I wanted to say about aptitude. And then now I honestly believe, because 7 out of 10 of us have had childhood trauma, that it is a good thing to have struggle. Now, hear me out. If you are a chick in an egg and you don't learn how to strengthen your muscles to peck your way out of that shell, because your poop is making noxious gases, actually you'll die if you don't exercise the muscles to peck and to push, then you're a weaker chick, right? Same
Mhm.
with the butterfly. There's a purpose to pain in life, and this is one of the biggest BS belief system that has hurt people, is that if you've had struggle, there's something wrong with you, you'll never catch up, you were being punished for something. And that's such a horrible BS, that so many people are under this hypnosis of thinking that they're not good enough, when in fact, the ones who have struggled, pain in life is necessary. There's no one that escapes pain. And even though it was a big hot book, Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People, I think it really hurt us with the understanding that, oh, bad things shouldn't happen. No, bad things are exactly the chiseling that can help us develop that superpower. And I'm like Thor, because of what I've gone through, I now can go like this and great things happen, because I've developed the ability to see through the pain into popping out into power. But you got to move through that pain and not keep blaming other people for the pain. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing that people don't talk about enough is that aptitude has a ceiling. And at some point, everyone faces failure. And I talk about it a lot, that fail is just first attempt in learning. And everyone has competition, and everyone meets someone just as talented or more talented. And it's okay. And when that happens, raw ability, it just isn't enough anymore. And this is where we see things. Gifted students get burnt out. Talented athletes, they face a plateau. And smart people, we can't avoid the challenges. And then we start to wonder why. Why? And it's because aptitude alone is never taught, that we have to stay disciplined and we have to work, because things will get boring. And that's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking of LeBron James, because I had a Laker date with my 96-year young bonus dad. And there's a cute story that we put out last night of us, hopefully In-N-Out Burger will see it, and we'll get the next one free. But, I was like, I haven't seen LeBron since last season. This was the first chance I got to watch it. He looks fantastic.
Mhm.
And, this is exactly what you're an example of. He could retire. He's 41, and that's pretty pushing that envelope for age, right? Same with Gladys Knight. She's 81, but she sings and is enjoying what she does. Your ability to be the best that you can be, at some point, you're not going to be able to, and accepting that is one thing, but giving up is a whole nother thing. Being the best that you can be in every point of your life is success, right? Not
Absolutely.
having expectations. I have pictures of myself when I used to model a long time ago. And at first I was like, I don't want to put them up, because I was getting insulted when people would say, "Is that you?" It's like, what? You don't think I could have done that, or looked like that? But really, it's, I'm grateful that I got to do that, right? And I did. That was me, and I I'm ageless, but yes, I have to be okay with the fact that I can't do what I used to do from physical, aging. It's just what it is. But I'm not going to beat myself up about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's when it comes to your attitude about it, because attitude is not personality, it's not optimism, and it's not pretending everything is fine. It's about how you respond. And it's how you respond to failure, how you respond to criticism, how you respond to pressure, how you respond to boredom, and how you respond to hard work. And it's how your attitude is how you show up, and it's about your discipline when your motivation is gone, and how you put forth your effort when no one is watching, and how you have humility when you succeed, and how you have resilience when you fail. It's all about that.
Attitude, attitude gives you altitude. That's mine.
Absolutely.
And we have to take a quick break to pause for news, weather, and traffic on this NBC News Radio, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. So glad that I'm in drive time now, 8 a.m. if you're listening on from your car. If you're not, if you're live with me on YouTube, it is 9 a.m. every weekday morning. You are listening to Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Special series every Wednesday, weekday morning. We'll be right back in 2 and 2. As Chuck Woolery used to say, I say peace in, peace out, but don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, board certified OBGyn, veteran officer of the United States Navy, and mother. And I'm here to let you know that I'm running for California's 32nd seat for the state Senate. Please visit my website at votedrtate.com. That is VOTEDRTATECOM. Learn more about me. I want to help make your lives more affordable because the cost of living is too high. I also want to make sure that we have access to medical care, access to affordable child care, and access to affordable cost of living. Again, please visit my website, learn how you can support me, Dr. Tiffanie Tate, for California State Senate for the 32nd seat. Again, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I want to make your lives better here in the state of California. Paid for by Dr. Tate for California State Senate.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pei's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my show Central, my YouTube TV channel, which is now 716 or 17 consecutive weeks, over 1,549 podcast shows, but who's counting? And now over 4.6 million impressions. I'm so grateful that y'all know where to come when you don't want to listen to the negativity on the news. And today is a special day. It's a series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
She's a board certified OBGyn and so much more. I am always happy to have her middle of the week because then I know it's going to be smooth sailing afterwards. Please welcome back Dr. Tiffanie Tate. And the topic of the day is
Attitude or aptitude?
Absolutely. And we were ending with attitude. Dr. Tiffanie was bringing up the importance of attitude. And I had answered, I think, the question correctly. What was more important? It was definitely attitude. My 2 cents or 8 cents worth on attitude is from Abraham Hicks' Law of Attraction, one of my teachers of happy living. And that is every single subject in your life has 2 ends. So pick one. Your hair. You can either look at the things about it that are good, that make you happy, right? The fact that I did find someone to restore the color that I like. I'm glad I have hair, and I like that I have maintained a unbalanced hairstyle for my balanced brand. Or I could say, oh my goodness, it's dry over here and it's just not falling in my second shower from working out and blah, 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 blah. So every topic, I have the choice. My most powerful tool in life is choice, to focus on which end. I can do that with people, places, events, what's happening, whatever is happening. I had my ultrasound yesterday. I didn't tell you. It's the first ultrasound since they found the 2 near fatal blood clots in my leg. I have not looked at it. I wanted to wait until I had my medical doctor staff to help me decipher what the findings are. But I can either look at it as a hopeful or not hopeful. So that is, I think, our most non taking advantage of skill or strength in life is choice in attitude. So I'm hoping that y'all will feel a lot more powerful. And there's a siren to tell me that that was the truth. There you go.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because one way to look at it is that aptitude determines how you start and attitude determines how you finish.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's a moose drop. Hold on. That's a Canadian version of a mic drop is my moose drop. Yeah.
Yes. And it's interesting because there was a study out of Stanford and they looked at it and they found that 87.5% of people's success can be attributed to their positive attitude, while only 12.5% comes from aptitude, knowledge, or skills.
Wow. That's a huge difference.
Right. So I thought things that make you go, And so when you look at what we're doing, and we look at outlook, and we think about how we will ourselves in our mind. People with strong attitudes, they ask for feedback instead of avoiding it. So when we say, okay, I don't want to ask, I don't want to think about it, no, we actually should, because that can help us fix our errors and help us improve ourselves. So don't be afraid of that constructive criticism. Now, just blanket criticism, well, that's different. But constructive criticism, that's actually a good thing. And practice, even when progress is slow. I remember Kobe Bryant, he was always on the court improving himself, and he was an excellent basketball player. And take responsibility instead of making excuses. I think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. As my work as an executive coach in organizations, my PhD is in organizational psychology. One of the things I get brought on to do is work with that problem executive or that problem child in the organization. And they really would prefer that I wasn't there, because it's an indication of something that they didn't do well. And I totally have empathy around that. Nobody wants to know that they're, yes, but. So my first meeting is always asking them to take back control of the decision. Do you want to know if your intent matches your impact? That's all feedback is. If I want to be seen as smart, then doesn't it behoove me to ask, is what I'm doing actually impacting you as smart? My intention is to be fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
My impact is blatant favoritism. Then don't you think it would be good to know that you're missing your own mark? And that usually, I would say, I think it's like 99.8%. There's only one person who was like, no, I don't want to know. I don't care. And then, of course, if they don't want to do that, then there's consequences. But that usually turns the whole activity around. 360-degree feedback. Nobody wants to know what they're not doing well. However, you can't fix something, and you cannot broaden your influence if you want to be motivating to people. Wouldn't it be good to know if you are motivating?
Oh, absolutely. Because the reality is that attitude multiplies aptitude. And who doesn't want to go higher? Nobody's like, no, I want to stay at the bottom. I want to do the worst job possible.
Yeah,
because
there are those, but they are a product of years and years and years of not mattering, being told they don't matter. So
emotional abuse.
Yeah. So I don't want to beat them up. They've already been beaten up. What is it? Quiet quitting. I call it dead people working.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because if aptitude is 0, the attitude can build it. And if aptitude is high, but attitude is low, the results will collapse. And we can try to help build that up. So 2026 can be a better year. And we're focused on building, we're focused on bettering, and we're focused on improving.
Mm-hmm. Here's a happy 88 challenge for everyone. If you really want to match your intent to be a caring, interesting, effective person, why don't you ask 3 people who watch you in action often, whether at work, and I would do one from work, one from home, and one from play, and ask them, here are 3 things that I want to be known for. Like, if I should die today, I want people to say she was or he was blank, blank, blank. What are those 3 words? Mine would be, what are your 3 words, Dr. Tiffanie? I'll say my 3 words are, she was inspiring. That's 1. She was caring is 2, and she was funny. So those are 3 things that I want to be remembered for, right? Mm-hmm. So then I would go and ask, Dr. Tiffanie, how am I doing on those three scales, right? On those three things. And on a scale of 1 to 10, Dr. Tiffanie, would you say I am inspiring? Like, what
Yes.
would be my number on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say probably about 8 to 9.
Okay.
You have a show, you impact people. Yes.
Okay. And then caring. What?
I
Same
would say-
thing.
Yep.
Same thing. And then funny.
Oh yeah, you're common. You have a funny bone and you do comedy. So yes.
Okay. So number.
Same.
So 8.5 for all three, right? So first I would say thank you, Dr. Tiffanie, for giving me that feedback without getting it all over me. And then if I wanted to move my number up, what's one thing I could do this year that would make me more caring, inspiring, funny? So just give me one.
I would say maybe do more comedy shows.
Okay. Get out there and put myself out there more. Okay. Great advice. So that's the exercise. It does take a little bit of chutzpah, to be able to take the feedback and not argue. But I do this, and I do as many as I can, Dr. Tiffanie. I can, that's not the reaction. It's thank you for caring enough to give me some honest feedback. That's it. So challenging. So what would you like to be known for? 3 things.
3 things: being impactful, being loving, and being supportive.
Okay. So impactful, not like a crown or a tooth. Sorry. Doing the funny. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say same thing, 8 or 9 on impactful. And then it was
supportive.
Oh, you're like 9, 10 on that one. And then, almost to a fault, but you're not going to see that. Okay. And then she's way more caring than I am. And then I always say to her, better you than me, when she tells me about people that come to her door at 2 a.m, it's like, I don't know.
I will let you in.
Yeah. I'm like,
and I will sit with you.
Answer the door, like, hello. And then the third one was
loving.
So yeah, probably more than me for sure. There's some people that she loves that I'm not crazy about.
I'm a bleeding heart sap. It is. I was raised that way. It's Mom T's fault. Bad Mom T.
I don't know. I'm not gonna blame Mom T on that one, but so there you go. I just gave. And what would I say for you to do more of or less?
Just keep doing what I'm doing.
To be better, I would say to be more cognizant of the consequences of being over loving, both in terms of self-care and enabling. That's my feedback. So, and lovingly, right? There's never a reason to be brutally honest. It's always
Absolutely.
a loving way. So I think I delivered that lovingly. And
Yes.
And that was a good exercise, right? So then you would do the same thing with someone that you work with, and then someone who you play with. And I will do the same thing with someone. I'll probably ask one of my mahjong beaches that I'm going to be playing mahjong with today, and ask them that question, and then ask someone in my family, my blood family. I will pick my younger daughter because she's always nicer than my daughter. I'm discerning. That's one of my qualities too. But that's a challenge for all y'all. I see the eyeballs. Nobody's identified in the chat yet, but I know that this is a good exercise for everyone. What do you want to leave behind? What are the 3 things you want to be remembered for? And then ask how you're doing. Is your intention to be that close to the impact that you're having in that? And then I promise you'll be the best that you can be this year. You're going to meet that goal.
And the reality is that in your jobs, employers don't always promote the most talented. They promote the most reliable, adaptable, and coachable. And so the person with the right attitude becomes the most valuable. And in life, attitude shapes your relationships, your mental health, as well as your growth. So two people can face the same situation. One will break and one will grow. Same problem, different attitude. So kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. We're up, but final stretch. Any other statistics or research that you did that you haven't covered yet?
No, those are just the main things, because when it comes to certain things where aptitude matters a lot, you want skilled surgeons. As a surgeon, I say that.
Pilot.
You definitely want the skilled surgeon, you want competent engineers, and you want trained pilots. There are certain things where it's all about skill, and attitude doesn't matter. You don't care if it's a cocky surgeon, you don't care if it's a cocky engineer. It's all about the skill. You don't care if they're nice and they don't know what they're doing. Attitude doesn't replace the skill at all. But they were nice. Okay, but they killed you in the process.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, with the advent of reviews and numbers, I do think that the day of cocky doctors who do not give you
Bedside manner,
day, right, is over. And it's funny, I was
absolutely.
just talking to a doctor about that. It's like, it's kind of not fair. I didn't go into this profession to be nice. I came into this profession to be competent, and now I have to do both. Absolutely. And I was like, you're absolutely right. And it was good that he got that.
Yes, because attitude is what builds the skill. So they should really have both.
Yeah.
You deserve both, because they're getting paid to service you. So you really shouldn't have to compromise, but you don't necessarily want to sacrifice one or the other. No one is born excellent at complex things. They become excellent by practicing, learning, failing, and adjusting. And a strong attitude does not give them the right to ignore aptitude. It develops it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that 10,000 hours is not a false thing. You're not going to be an overnight keyboardist. You have to practice. Practice makes perfect. I don't like that expression anymore, because perfectionism is a dis-ease and no one is perfect. Ergo, look at the Olympics. They practice their entire lives, and then that one moment, attitude and aptitude, your attitude matters more, I think, because, same with choking at free shots, free throws, 3-point line, all of those things require the practice, but then the attitude in the moment is tantamount. You really, if you don't believe in what you're doing or your ability. It's interesting. My daughter came down for an interview, final interview with this company, and she took me out for dinner. She said, she picked up the bill and she said, as long as I get the job. But I was so proud of her, because she said, I've gone through, I've prepared. And she goes, I have moments of imposter syndrome. I'm like, oh. I go, but you know who you are. She goes, yeah, I do, but it's such a human thing. It doesn't matter how much you've practiced, the power of your critical mind. If it's turned against you, it can level how many years of practice of anything. So your attitude does matter. What is your BS? What is your belief system about your aptitude? That is, you can be super talented. And if you don't think you're talented, or if you don't believe in yourself as you started at the very beginning, coming full circle, then it really doesn't matter how talented you are. And I will throw one more thing in there. You can be talented at more than one thing. Don't believe the BS, the bullshit talkie that I got told my entire career, which is you cannot do more than one thing. And now they have the nerve to call me a multi-hyphenate, which is exactly what I've pushed to say I can do. And now it's a good thing. So go figure.
Absolutely. And I think it's important, because Dr. Mercer's right. When you try something and it doesn't succeed, remember, especially this year, as we start off the new year, that failure is not proof that you are bad at something. It's just proof that you can learn that something did not work, because fail is first attempt in learning. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is intentional. Small daily efforts beats big occasional efforts. And remember, feedback is not an attack. It's just a shortcut to improvement, and we just have to continue to improve. And remember to take responsibility. Blame feels good, but it traps you. Don't let anybody trap you. Ownership gives you control. And when you take control of everything, you are empowered. You can do this. You can overcome it, and show up for yourself. Show up for yourself when no one is watching, because you are in charge of you. You are in charge of your life, and your future is built in private habits, not public moments. So is it attitude or is it aptitude? The real answer is that attitude may open the door, but it is the attitude that decides whether you walk through it and how far you go once inside.
Preach. Lots of great nuggets in that oratory just now from Dr. Tiffanie. If you just, there's so much in there that you can really do well to follow and listen to. And my final word is feedback. You have two ways to look at it. You can see it as someone being unhappy with you and criticizing you, and you can choose to say, how dare you, you don't know me. Or you can choose the other side of the stick and say, this is a person's communicating to me how I impact them. Now I have the choice. If I want to positively impact them more so than I currently am, then I will listen to what they are saying and pay attention to how I can have a better relationship with them. If, however, I want to piss them off, now I know how to do that too. That's my final word on feedback. Dr. Tiffanie, last word.
You don't control what you're born with, but you do control what you bring every single day.
Fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed this installation of Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Dr. Tiffanie, take us out.
Now go and have the best day ever.
We'll see you next week.